Rectus! Rectus Dominus! Omen, released in 1976 and is directed by Richard Donner, who's also directed such films like Salt and Pepper, The Goonies, the Lethal Weapon franchise, Superman the movie, and Superman 2, kinda. And this film is starring Gregory Peck, Lee Remick, David Warner, and Billy Whitelaw. And the reason why we're talking about The Omen today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from a longtime contributor and supporter of this channel, getting this out here just in time for Halloween. Dr. Camp, thank you very much for this recommendation. If anyone else out there also wants to be like Dr. Camp and help support me and contribute to this channel, you can select the QR code that is in the bottom left corner of your screen right now. Send over your donation of $5 or more with your movie recommendation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a little shout out just like what I did with Dr. Camp here. Robert and Catherine Thorne are living in Rome as Catherine is delivering her baby. However, unbeknownst to her, the doctors declare the baby a stillborn when it is birthed, and Robert is in anguish. Luckily, there's a Catholic priest that comes a-knocking, saying, hey, we had a woman just give birth today and died in childbirth, and we don't want to get this kid into the orphanage, so why don't you just take it, give it to your wife, they'll have no idea that it was a switcheroo. So 5 years later, the family is living well, up until some strange supernatural things start happening around Robert and Catherine and their boy called Damien. And those supernatural things are dogs who start hanging out around the house, and they're barking at Robert constantly and growling at him because they know, hey, you're gonna come after this kid one day and we're gonna get you. A weird psycho excommunicated priest comes knocking on his door saying, oh, you must take communion, you must worship the Lord and take him into your heart because bad things are gonna happen, sir. And poles from really tall buildings start breaking off and stabbing people and running them through on the ground, and nannies are going crazy and jumping off of buildings and hanging themselves in honor of Damien, all because it turns out that Damien is the literal Antichrist, born and given to this political family to get into political power here in America and become all powerful and just run the world. This is my first viewing of The Omen. I have heard so much about this movie. We watch a whole bunch of ranking videos and documentaries on scary films around this time because we love Halloween. If you can't tell, we just love this holiday. It's so special to us. But it took me forever to watch this movie, and it's probably because I've already seen movies like The Exorcist, and I don't know, I guess I was just over the whole idea of, oh god, it's the Antichrist, it's the son of the devil coming back, okay, whatever, I've seen this a million times before. But thank God I actually checked myself before I wrecked myself and actually watched this movie, because this film is excellent. In my opinion, it is by far better than The Exorcist, even though it's dealing with, I guess, similar things. We have possession, demonic possession in that movie, and it's very scary with its use of practical effects and cinematography. But I love the story and the characters more in this film. I mean, this movie has Gregory Peck, who is one of my favorite, I guess, classic actors. So whenever he's on screen, I don't think anyone has more gravitas on screen than Gregory Peck ever did. When he's on screen, he commands the space. He is in power, regardless if you're trying to convince me that he doesn't. He's the one in power here, guys, okay? And to see him give all of that gravitas and all of that clout and all of those stakes to this script that probably when you read it, is a little silly. This could have easily been a B, C, D movie, not to be taken seriously, but you put an actor like Gregory Peck in there, and all of a sudden, okay, this is gonna get mainstream attention, because we have some clout here when it comes to our actors. Now, I'm a huge fan of South Park, and they have parodied this film so much. I feel like I have seen it, or at least the elements that South Park would use in their show, like the choir singing, Rectus! Rectus Dominus! They use that to death for so many seasons, and it all comes from this movie. The first couple of times I started laughing hysterically because I knew what was going on, but again, this script, this story just pulled me back into it, and I was loving watching this this politician, which is a strange thing to say. I was loving to watch a politician on screen, but to see him figure out that this boy that he secretly adopted is the Antichrist, it's the son of the devil, and to see him struggle with the concept of, I'm either going to have to murder this boy, or this boy is going to grow up and take over the world and plunge it into darkness. I love seeing that conflict with this character. It's fantastic. So for the next time, when your child is a stillborn and you are so swallowed up in grief and depression that when a Catholic priest comes along and says, hey, I can give you a baby, no questions asked, from this other mother who died in childbirth, and we don't want to take him into the system, why don't you take him, give him to your wife, she'll have no idea, and pass it along. Just don't, because then shit like this story happened. You find out that your kid has the mark of the devil on him, and then everything just goes to shit. And I will say the other performance that really captivated me, and it's weird seeing him like in his younger years, maybe like in his early 40s, but David Warner, who is the photographer that shows up in here, and he's putting everything together, and he sees all the markings in all of his pictures that he's taking. That man's voice is like the greatest British accented voice in the history of mankind, I think. When I think of a British accent, regardless of where it is in the entire country, it has to be David Warner. And he and Gregory Peck play off well with each other, and what ends up happening to his character in here, it's scary. It leads to the character of Robert coming to the realization that, oh my god, this thing is serious, and I'm going to have to commit murder. I'm going to have to murder my son because of what just happened to David here. Which is another life lesson that you'll learn from this movie. Never kneel at the foot of a hill where you see a truck that has a whole bunch of glass planes in the back seat of it, because you never know when the brakes are going to fail and that thing comes crashing down on you. This story is wonderful. The use of suspense in here, keeping you guessing and really keeping you creeped out the entire time, of just the realization that this is the evil happenings. This could actually happen. This is probably happening right now. The use of music and the sound effects in here and how it adds to the creepiness and the lack of music. There is a moment in here where he has this home invasion-esque sequence where he tricks one of the dogs to go into the basement and then locks him down. Then he gets into a little tussle with his son's nanny. Very creepy, and there's no music almost the entire time. The Omen is a wonderful thriller and Halloween film to watch. I'm going to make it part of my Halloween watching every year because it's excellent. I'm going to give The Omen 4.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
So guys, if you've seen The Omen, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across because of this review, then comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you're the next time I release next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.